2. Wait, my timer isn't up. Aw. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that works, yeah. Okay. It's actually come to my attention recently that my grandparents are aware that I do podcasts on YouTube. So in the event they're watching, hi Grandma, I'm going to try and not curse as much during this episode for your sake. So I'll keep you updated on that as the show goes on.
Rytalk12.
Okay, hi. It is the second Rytalk12, the 12 episode, 12-minute podcast that I'm doing because I'm no longer on No One's Gonna Listen, if you don't count last week where I showed up, and I'll be on the next one too. So it's really like I'm not gone. So you're really getting double Ryan, which I apologize for that. I had an event occur to me on the weekend that really kind of put a lot of things in perspective for me. How do I put this in an easy to understand way? And one that makes me sound good. I was messaging an individual on Tinder. I hope my neighbors aren't listening to this. But I was messaging a person on Tinder, and I realized that I lack self-confidence in a lot of really meaningful ways, and by that I mean the person I was talking to is the friend of a friend. So we have a friend, like a mutual friend in common, and I was completely petrified about asking this person for their Snapchat. And as the day went on, I planned to ask this person in the morning for their Snapchat so I didn't have to keep messaging them on Tinder. But the fear of that whole idea completely swamped me, and it completely overtook my day. To the point where I had to actually text someone and say, look, am I making the right decision in asking for this person's like Snapchat? And the person's response was basically, are you fucking stupid? I'm sorry, Grandma. But that is pretty much what they said, and I kind of have to agree that it's such a simple act asking a person for, like, you know, a 12-digit username, and that whole thing being completely out of my realm of possibility. It's kind of messed up if you really think about it. I'm very thirsty, I'm sorry. But then it really got me thinking about a lot of other moments in my life where I've completely lacked self-confidence, even like really simple things. When I was, how old was I? I had just turned 15. I'm a big Kamen Rider fan, and they had a really rare like Kamen Rider toy lot of a bunch of really rare toys for like $150. And I didn't have access to my bank account at the time because I had just turned 15. I didn't have a job yet. And I remember seeing all this stuff, and it was like, I collect toys, and having that lot would have been like the holy grail of my collection. Like, holy shit. That would have been like the piece de resistance of everything. And I was so scared about asking my dad if I could buy it. Like, I was so scared. And then I ended up losing it. And someone else bought it before I could. And I think about that sometimes, especially now because I'm trying to complete that collection, and I'm trying to find those missing items that I could have gotten if I had pulled the trigger on them earlier. But like, it's such a simple thing that completely ruined like a weekend for me because I was so scared about like asking someone a question. And it's always questions, like, or maybe it's not necessarily questions. When I was about, I think I was about to turn 16, so end of 2015, beginning of 2016, I was seeing a therapist at the time, and he kind of put my whole mental process into a really interesting set of words. He said I have an issue with catastrophizing, and I've never heard the word catastrophizing before, so I thought that was very interesting, and it was also fun to say, catastrophizing. It doesn't sound real, but it's real, I assure you. I've Googled it. But basically what he said is, Ryan, whenever something happens to you, you instantly imagine the worst case scenario for any given thing. no matter how complicated, you could have a family member in the hospital and you would automatically assume they'll die, or the simplest thing, whether it's asking someone for their contact information or gonna buy something on eBay. I'll instantly go to the worst case scenario for every single thing. And it wasn't until, it sounds stupid to say, but it wasn't until this dude put it in that set of words and that certain perspective that it really like struck me what I do. And I just thought that was really interesting, because confidence, at least for me, isn't a simple, you're either confident or you aren't. It's a very like weird middle ground where things like public speaking I have no problem with. I've gone up on stage and I've spoken to 100 people or something. Many people, I've gone up and I can improvise something on the spot like it's nothing. And a lot of people can't do that, and I count myself very fortunate that I can do that. But if it's something like going up to the counter at a restaurant and asking for like an extra packet of ketchup for like fries or something, I can't do it. I freak out. When I went to buy, I have mommy, no, they're over there. Whenever I go to, if you ever go to the Apple store and you order online, which I typically do to avoid lines and them trying to harass you into buying other things, you have to go up to a representative and show them like your phone, and they scan the barcode on like the wallet app or whatever. And the first time I did that, I was so scared, like terrified. And like I'm like, I just bought AirPods. How come I can't like walk up to this dude wearing his dopey blue shirt and like I can't be like, hey, can you scan my app for me? Like it's such a bizarre thing, but I can get up in front of a room of people and give a crazy presentation on like a script I wrote, like it's nothing. It's such a weird thing for me. And then it does go back to that thing of catastrophizing, or like thinking of the worst case scenario for every single thing. And again, this is another episode where I don't know where I'm going with it. I'm just kind of rambling, but I think it's interesting. I once knew a girl who told me one night around midnight that she was directing a movie the next day, or maybe she was producing it. I don't quite remember. And she said to me, my actress hasn't responded to me in like 2 hours or something. Like, oh my god, did she drop out of the movie? I'm freaking out. Like, this could ruin my whole shoot. And I responded to her by saying, have you ever heard of Occam's razor? And Occam's razor is something I discovered maybe a year or two ago, and it's a really interesting concept. The whole idea of Occam's razor is that the simplest explanation is most often the correct one. And I wish I knew about that whole concept and that whole school of thought friggin' 10 years ago, because I feel like that would have completely changed my life if I had even like a simple thing to put things into perspective for me. Because the more I think about that, the more I realize that's such a simple thing. So I said to her, I said, look, like more likely than not, she's at work or something and she just couldn't, respond to your text message or whatever. And like, sure enough, that's what it was. And she said, like, even she said to me, she was like, I honestly, like, I freak out sometimes, and it doesn't, like, it kind of, like, lines up like that. And I said, yeah, like, that's a really common thing. And that was another one of those moments where I was like, like, people, I don't know if that's, like, our society today sort of thing, but, like, it's interesting that something so simple can cause so much distress. And then it's with a lot of people I know, and especially to myself personally. Someone doesn't like answer my text in the first 10 minutes, I assume they died. And I think about that initial scenario, and I think about this scenario that I have now with me messaging this person on Tinder asking for their Snapchat. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. Okay, like, who gives a shit? I mean, I give a shit, but it's interesting because once you start, at least to me, once you start putting things into perspective, you become more successful because you're able to sort of collect yourself, realize that things aren't as bad as they are, or are as bad as they could be, and sort of focusing on the now and not immediately jumping to like what if scenarios, what if this happened. I think we as people could all be a lot more successful because of that. If that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for watching or listening. I don't know if you're listening. If you have YouTube Premium, I guess you could be listening if you close the app as you're going for a run or something. I think Ralph does that sometimes. But thank you for watching. This has been fun as always. I hope this was coherent because I'm not shooting this at 3 a.m. like I shot the last one. And I'm a little bit more alert and vibrant. So we're really hoping that, we're successful with this particular episode. I had a good time personally. I really enjoyed it. So don't forget to hit like and that subscribe button and all that good stuff. If you're my grandma, it was good talking to you today. I talked to you for a couple hours today, so that was really nice. Thank you for watching and supporting your grandson. That means a lot to me. I'll be back next week, and hopefully we can do the podcast at another good time that's not 3 a.m. I'll keep you all updated on that, though, so see you next time.